Your spouse comes before your children, period. No debate. Because you and your spouse are who your children look up to.
Mm.
If your children are seeing you choosing your children over them,
Yeah.
over your spouse, that
Yeah.
creates chaos. That's out of order.
Yeah.
You can't lead your children by showing them that, oh, mommy and daddy's choosing you over themselves, like over their relationship.
Right.
No, because kids look and lean towards examples.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said in the last podcast, that children don't listen to what you say. They look at what you do.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Zamots podcast, where we focus on
faith,
family,
fitness,
finances,
and friendships.
Today, we're going to be reading from Proverbs 22 again, and it said 22:15. It says, "Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him." Amen.
Amen.
All right, family. Good afternoon. I hope y'all are doing amazing. We are going to pick up where we left off in our previous episode, discussing parenting and parenting as a young adult. So listen, I think that if you're a parent, okay, and you have children and you don't discipline your children, then you are not their parent, you're their friend, or at least you're behaving like their friend. Listen, when you have children, they need correction, okay? Any child that you know that grows up without correction or without discipline, you talk to them and they have some sort of resentment towards their parents for not disciplining them and not giving them correction and order and structure. Like a child needs guidance, okay? Just like a baby needs guidance, like a child needs guidance as well. Not just when they're babies, but when they grow up, right? They need guidance, they need discipline, they need structure. And if you don't provide that for them, they'll grow up to resent you. Unfortunately, not all children, but most children will grow up to resent their parents because they didn't lay a proper foundation. So that being said, I want to ask my bride a question, a few questions actually. So the first question that I have, sweetheart, is what's the most important thing that you want to teach our children?
Most important thing I want to teach them is, that's a hard one. Cause like I just gotta choose one.
Yeah, because it says the most important thing.
But I feel like it's a couple the most important thing.
Okay, so what's the couple?
Hey y'all. The most important thing is to be humble.
Be humble, okay.
What
do you mean by that?
Be humble in every aspect, whether working, to other people, to yourself, humble what you have, like to be humble.
What do you mean by humble though?
Like be grateful. Like don't take anything for granted. Don't think anything is given to you. Don't think anything is like an obligation. Like to be humble. To just, if you're humble in everything, like if you're humble about everything in life, things come to you naturally.
Yeah.
Because you're grateful for what is given to you. And that's whether you're humble towards people, what you have, what you're working towards. To be humble it gets you a long way. Yeah. And that's something that God respects and honors, is those that are humble. Like the people that, are boastful or, prideful. Yeah. They don't really get that. They don't really get that attention, Yeah. They don't really,
and people don't like them.
Yeah, they are blessed, but it's blessed with like a time limit on it. Like people that they'll receive blessings and it don't last for long. It's because you weren't humble. Right. So I want them to always be humble in everything that they do, whether it's waking up in the morning time, brushing their teeth, or eating, like whatever it is, to be humble and be grateful.
I like that. What else? Or is that the one?
I'm just go with those ones because it's really a list.
Okay, so humility. So she says humility. I like that. I wasn't. That wasn't my answer, which is great.
Okay.
So the question,
what's the most important thing you want to teach our children?
the most important thing that I want to teach our children is value people over anything else, whether it be possessions, money, you know, experiences. I mean, value people over everything else, because as you go about your life, you understand that the most important thing that you have, other than your relationship with God and your relationship with yourself and your relationship with your partner, if they have a partner at that time, is going to be your relationships that you build with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our life is made up of people that we build relationships with, right? And if you have good relationships, then you'll be able to put yourself in good situations or put yourself in good rooms where people are able to assist you, right? You're able to assist them, and the conversations are more profitable and encouraging and helpful. So I think that's the most important thing that I want to teach our children, is value people over anything else.
Yeah. People lives matter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. All right, so next question.
Okay. So why is it important to be careful what you let your children watch and listen to?
Ooh, that's a great question. Why is it important to be careful what you let your children watch and listen to? I believe that it's important because children are sponges, and whatever they watch or listen to is programming them and shaping the way they think and their outlook on life. So if they're hearing negative messages, if they're seeing negative things, if they're consuming negative content, then that's going to program their subconscious mind, and somewhere in their life is going to show up, right? Whether it be now, a year from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, it's going to show up, and it's going to have influence. So I think it's important to monitor, what your children are watching and listening to. And it starts with the parents. You know what I mean? If the parents are watching craziness or listening to foolishness, then the children are there, right? And they hear it. You may not think they're paying attention or that they, it's not that big of a deal, but it is, right? I know parents that, have their kids around them listening to music with all types of cursing in it, right? Talking about foolishness, or watching movies with all types of cursing in it or violence. Like, that stuff right there, like, you sowing seeds into your children's mind. Like, you don't, they're going to be exposed to that. Yes, I'm not naive. They will be exposed to that, but they're not going to be exposed to it by me, right? I mean, that I'm not doing that, not as a parent, right? So yeah, that's my response.
Yeah.
So why is it important to be careful what you let your children watch and listen to? How do you feel about that?
It's as simple as this.
Okay, it's simple.
It's simple, easy. 1, 2, 3. Too much dip on each other now. Okay.
I'm parched.
It's as simple as this. Whatever you plant in the ground, you're eventually gonna see come up. Okay. When you
That's
plant a sunflower seed in the ground and you water it, get sunshine, eventually a sunflower is gonna come up. If you pour negativity into your children, if you're letting them watch any and everything, not monitoring what they're doing, that is eventually going to come up. And it's going to come up in a very toxic way. And you're going to be confused because you're not monitoring and you're not watching what your children are putting inside of their spirit.
Right.
Because you think it's innocent and you think that, oh, they understand it's just a movie. No, because that's how the enemy works, through music,
subtlety.
Through music, through movies and TV shows. All that we are watching on the screen or that we hear coming in our eardrums, it's all a seed. Whether it's a tiny seed, a big seed, a seed is a seed. You plant something, it's going to grow. So no, like,
yeah, that's good.
They don't watch, they don't listen to any and everything. Like,
that's good.
No, because like you said, kids are sponges. It's one that, and then kids, they don't know how to like mellow into anything. Like, they see something, they hear something, they're gonna take it on to 100. They're gonna take it to 100%, and it's gonna be in their mind rolling. That's something new. That's something different. Like,
yeah,
No, when your child, watch what they're putting in their spirit. Watch what you're playing around them. Like certain movies that if they have cussing or something like that, our kids are asleep. Like they're not up watching it. And if we hear it got a cuss word in it and they're up, we turn it off. Like it's our house and we're grown, but at the same time you don't want your kids exposed to too much too early. Like he said, they're going to be exposed to it. Like we're not in denial about that, but it's a time of when that exposure happens. You expose your children to stuff prematurely, it's going to affect them, how they operate, how they move, and how they see the world. And that's your job as a parent to monitor that and make sure that they're not being exposed to certain things prematurely. Like you'll see on social media a 5-year-old boy knows what adult activities are.
What kind of adult
like websites?
Oh Lord.
Because that's what he's seen. That's what he's being shown. That is that baby is
sowing the seed too early.
That's you're prematurely exposed to that. Like it's certain things that a child should not be exposed to until it's time for them to be exposed to it.
Yeah, timing is
because
everything.
some stuff is too much. You know what I'm saying? You script a child's innocence whenever you expose them to just everything. Oh well, they're gonna see it anyways. The world's gonna introduce it to them anyways. Yes, but there's a time and place. That's why God puts certain things in order. You don't just contrary, like I'm not about to pull my 4-year-old over here and tell her, hey, drugs is this, drugs is that, sex is this. Like I'm not about to do it because that's going to, one, confuse her, two, leave her asking more questions and then try to figure it out on her own and just open up a whole new, it's going to script her innocence. I'm not doing it. So
yeah, that's good.
It's very important.
That's good. It's funny because some parents are confused when they hear their children speak a certain way or say something or do something. They're like, oh, well, I don't know where they got that from. We don't do that in the house. Well, you may not do it in the house yourself, but maybe you're listening to something or watching something or they've seen something, that they got that idea from.
Yeah.
Right? Or they heard, we've done it before. Like our daughter had said something before. And we're like, what? Like, where'd she get that from? Right? Well, it's the information that she's listening to. Whatever's on the YouTube or the TV or whatever. Like, it can be the smallest thing. So it happens. You know what I mean? You just got to make sure that you try and monitor it as much as possible because that's your job as a parent, right? Is to, you have a responsibility as a parent. It's not like you didn't just, like, God bless you with a child and you gotta like do what you're supposed to do, as a parent. And if you don't, then it's gonna come back to bite you down the road. You know what I mean? So the last question that I have here for, as far as parenting goes is, what's the one piece of advice you'd want your children to live out if you die prematurely?
One piece of advice. I would have to say, never forget who you are. Never forget who you are.
That's good.
Never change who you are to satisfy other people. I feel like as a child, they have that strong personality or they're confident in who they are and what they want, and the world will literally shave every piece of originality, of personality that you have. And for most kids that are, I want to say, chosen, they don't fit the status quo. They don't fit in the box of, oh, my child sit down, they don't move, they sit quietly, they raise their hand, they don't move, they keep everything in line. It's a structure, it's robotic, it's the American slavery mentality that if you are not astute, then you're different, or
you don't fit
you're
in.
on the spectrum, or you have some type of problem. I want them to know that if you're confident in who you are, you're confident in that you are Noah Victoria, you are Naomi Elise, you are baby boy. Like if you're confident in that, stand firm on it. Don't let no one change who you are because it makes them uncomfortable. Like stay true to yourself, and that's never gonna lead you wrong because you are who God created you to be.
Yeah.
So don't change it. Don't switch up for nobody. Like, change for the better, but still stay. Like, if you know that's a piece of you that is a talkative person, that is a loving person, don't change that because the world says you doing too much, or you're not doing enough, or whatever it is. Be you.
Yeah, that's good.
Be you.
That's good. I like that. I'll tell you, I like that advice. I'll take that advice.
You take that advice.
So the one piece of advice that I'd want to leave my children if I died prematurely, man, there's so much good advice.
It's a lot.
There's so much good advice. What advice would I want to leave my children if I died prematurely?
It's a lot. Like, to just choose one.
Yeah, it is a lot. I would say, that's tough. Keep God at the center of all of your choices and decisions, and make sure that whatever you decide to do in your life, you persist until it gets done. Yeah. Keep God at the center of all of your decisions and choices. And whatever you decide to do with your life, you persist until it gets done. Yeah, I like that.
That's good. That actually could go on a shirt.
Yeah, that could go on a shirt. Don't take none of my ideas, okay? Patent. Don't do it. So we're gonna make a slight transition here. I mean, this falls in line with our topic, but my wife had posted something on Instagram. She posted a question, and what was the question that you posted?
The question was, who comes first in a household after God? And it pretty much was a poll that I posted, and then below the poll I put explain why, because it's very easy to put yes or no, but I want to know your why.
Right.
So 67% said your spouse and 33% said your children, which I'm actually shocked by those results, because I would have thought that more people said your children, because this has been an ongoing like conversation of your spouse, your child, your spouse, your child, your spouse, your child. So it really got active in the the explanations and stuff like that. So that's what we're gonna get into.
I love it. I have we have some questions here. Listen, questions are the answer. Okay, we love answering. I love asking questions and answering questions. So I feel that it creates conversation and creates substance. So I have, and I said this earlier in the pod, but I have a belief that when it comes to the hierarchy of importance in your relationships, it's your relationship with God, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, and then your relationship with your peers, right, or your associates, right, whatever you want to call them. Like that's the top five right there. So first is God, second is yourself, third is your spouse, fourth is your children, and then fifth is your relationship with your peers. So all of those five relationships right there are extremely important. And that being said, did you want to read? Are you reading some of there?
Well, you just said you was about to do these questions.
Oh, okay. So let's get into these questions. So the first question that we have here is why do you feel that your spouse comes before your children? Obviously, you voted on that. Yeah. Right, that the spouse comes, and I did too. So let's explain why we feel that our spouse comes before our children.
Your spouse comes before your children, period. No debate, because you and your spouse are who your children look up to. If your children are seeing you choosing your children over them, over your spouse, that creates chaos. That's out of order. Yeah. You can't lead your children by showing them that, oh, mommy and daddy's choosing you over themselves, like over their relationship. No, because kids look and lean towards examples. Like we said in the last podcast, children don't listen to what you say. they look at what you do, and that's how they learn.
Yeah.
So, and when you're in a marriage and you have a child, and it's this great debate of, oh, well, I'm always put my child first. Let me break this down to y'all, okay? Let me break this down to y'all. If you are in a marriage, if you are with your partner and it is a God ordained relationship, marriage, soulship, then automatically you putting your spouse first will always keep your children right there. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're like, what exactly am I putting over you that I wouldn't do for my children? You know what I'm saying? People go into this big dramatic spiel of, oh, if somebody was about to kill your husband or your children, who would you choose?
Right.
My spouse is going to tell me to choose my children. I'm going to tell my spouse to choose our children. My time's up. You get what I'm saying? Like, people compare, like, the closest thing that to understanding how God loves us is having a child. And it is. I would lay down my life for my children. I would. And I would lay down my life for him. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that it's vice versa. So that debate is just like, whenever you're doing what God says you're supposed to be doing, and you and your spouse are walking in a living example, your children see no separation.
Right.
Our kids see no separation. What am I doing for him that my children are feeling as though they're second fiddle?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There is an order in line, but they understand mommy and daddy respect each other. And if mommy and daddy are talking or doing something, then you wait. That is respect. That is not me choosing my husband over my children.
Right.
That is me respecting the unit and the marriage that God put together.
Yeah.
So it's just like that whole debate is just like
silly.
It's silly, and it's coming from a place of hurt. Like, you're hurt to say that, oh, I'm choosing my children over whatever. I'm not choosing my children over a man. You're hurt.
Yeah.
You hurt. Because any man that you are truly with, any woman that you are truly with, is going to flow naturally. Like, there's naturally, I'm fixing the kids' plate and fixing your plate. And what do? You come take the kids' plate and you serve them. You get what I'm saying? It's the ego thing that I feel like with certain men is very bad. Oh no, don't fix those kids plate before mine. Like, sad to say, I grew up hearing that. Like, my dad was like that. Like, oh no, I'm like, no, fix my food first. Let me get my food first. Like, that's what I saw growing up. And I didn't take it in a way to where it was like, dang, like, we gonna get the crumbs of the food, because I still ate.
Right.
But it's something that I had to reteach and relearn myself, because that wasn't necessarily right. You're creating that separation.
Right.
You're making that separation known. You get what I'm saying? That's a no-go. You know what I'm saying? Even if I fix your plate, I fix your plate first, and you sit at the table and I give you your plate. The children know that they're gonna get their food. Right. They know that mommy is fixing the plates. They know that there's no separation, but they also know, well, they don't ask, oh, well, why did daddy get to eat first?
Right.
Because they know that order. They know that mommy is serving daddy, or daddy is serving mommy, and we're gonna get our food. Regardless, they're gonna eat. So yeah, that's where I stand on big business, that the spouse comes first. The spouse comes first, and then the children.
Yeah.
But I feel like it shouldn't be to where it's a separation to where it causes chaos and confusion, because that's really where this whole debate came up to.
Yeah. I think the spouse comes first, simply because you're gonna be with your spouse longer than you're gonna be with your children. Your children are only gonna be children for the time that they're children, right? And then when they grow up, they become adults. They leave out the house, and they're doing their own thing. They're living their own life, right? So you lay the foundation, and you make sure that you set the example of what a relationship or what a marriage looks like, and how to love and respect one another, how to overcome adversity, how to deal with problems, and as you set that example and you prioritize your relationship or your marriage, then your children will see that, and then they'll model that. right? And
Mm-hmm.
then as they get older and they go out into the world and they find themselves a partner, they come from a healthy household and they can see, oh, this is how a proper household should flow. This is what I should be doing as a wife. This is what my husband should be doing, right? In order for our life to flourish, in order for our marriage to flourish. So yeah, you're only with your children, for a short period of time, but you're with your spouse forever. There's so many couples, or you should be with your spouse forever.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many couples that once the children leave the house, then they divorce,
Yep.
right? They're
Literally
only
waiting for the
together.
children. Yeah.
Yeah, they're only together because of the children. I'm like, how crazy is that, right? You're like, you living miserably together because of the children. Like, why?
But you
That
create this false example, this false um just you create a lie to your
Yeah,
children.
yeah, it's an
Because as soon
illusion.
as they graduate, oh yeah, I'm done with you. We
Yeah,
good.
yeah. They're like,
What?
we got the kids graduated. They doing their thing. Now we done,
You've hurt your
right?
children
And
even
it's
more.
because you stopped pouring into your marriage and you started to prioritize your children and prioritize them only, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you stop pouring into your marriage, you stop pouring into your spouse, and you strictly just focus on your children, um, then that seed isn't being watered, right? You guys aren't growing together, right? That love isn't being cultivated. So now there becomes this disconnect over time because the priority has just been the children, right? Getting them what they need, doing what they want, right? Making sure that they're okay. And there's nothing wrong with prioritizing your children as a parent. You shouldn't prioritize your children over your spouse though, right? That shouldn't happen. There should be a healthy prioritization of being a parent and making sure that your children's needs are met. And there
Mm-hmm.
should also be a healthy prioritization of your spouse and making sure that your spouse's needs are met. Okay? There shouldn't be any lack anywhere, when it comes to running your household. So that's how I feel about it, and I stand on it. All right. So